Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I just came back from my evening run, so I'm still in my running clothes. It's cold outside, so I always get very cold ears, and in order to prevent them from freezing, I put on this. So let's put that away. Hope the audio is okay. It is, of course, this is my kitchen, so it's a bit echoey. Hopefully you're able to understand me, to hear me all right. Welcome to my kitchen. I never stream from this place, but this is the first time, and I figured why not? Since we are part of a community, sometimes that involves eating together, or at least in this case cooking together, because I am unable to get the food to you. Let me know if you're in the chat room and say hi, and if you're new, let us know where you're from. And if you see any new people, make sure to welcome them as well. So again, my apologies that I'm in my running clothes, not in my usual priestly vestments, although, you know, it's still black. I may have to find someone who can make me something white here, so I can be recognizable as a priest even when I'm running. Hey Ruben, hey Michiel. Hello Mike.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Never mind. It's a lovely kitchen. I'm very happy with this kitchen. I notice now on the camera that actually the middle light over there has a different color from the other ones. It's because I use different light bulbs, but I never noticed. I only see it now because the camera of the Mac is probably a bit more sensitive to these different colors. Hey flying car, hey play it in the background. What are we cooking today? That's a good question. I'm going to present you with multiple options, and well, you can help me decide. But before I do that, and while other people are joining the chat, let me first clean up the kitchen a little bit. I always like to have you know, empty tables, and so I can focus on meal prep. So let's do that first. Always have stuff here in the dishwasher that I need to get rid of. And then I can fill it with the stuff that I used for lunch. Ouch. So I've got a couple of things that I need to cook, because the ingredients are starting to expire. But it doesn't always mean that I'm going to eat it right away. Sometimes I'll just do meal prep. So I have some options for the next couple of days. But I prefer to prepare everything before it goes bad. Otherwise I have to throw it away. So that means that sometimes I'm cooking more than I can eat. Which is also convenient if, for instance, you get surprise guests. It's always nice to have at least a little bit of food already pre-prepared, like an oven dish or something like that, so you can quickly serve people if necessary. All right, very important utensil. This, of course, is for pizza. Oh, we're not going to eat pizza today. That I can tell you, because too much pizza makes for too much Father Roderick. Where does this go? It should be in there, right? Oh, it's right here. That one's empty. In the meantime, of course, while I'm cooking, feel free to ask me anything. I'll try to look at the chat from time to time and answer your questions. Oh wow. This is part of my rice cooker, also very important in my kitchen because I tend to cook a lot of Asian dishes from the Korean and the Japanese and the Chinese cuisine. Although there's actually not such a thing as the Chinese cuisine because it's such a huge country, all sorts of different culinary traditions. I've got my wok. This is really cool. I'm so happy I found this. So this is a steel wok, but you can use it on induction, which is what I cook on. I don't have gas, unfortunately. But this one works actually quite well. I've got a smaller pan for, you know, an omelet or something like that. All right, let's get rid of this. Bring this to the living room. If all is well, you should be able to hear me even if I walk away from the camera, because my microphone is wireless. So convenient, especially because my kitchen has a lot of echo. It was, of course, not designed as a sound studio. But maybe if I do this more often in the future, I may have to add some dampening paneling or some sound panels or something like that. Pepper, condiments. So this is also a bit of a sneak peek into my life. And I can be a bit neurotic when it comes to cleaning up and having everything in place. So that is why I also share with you that before I cook, I clean. And I don't always have time to do that during the day. Sometimes I sleep in a little bit, and then I just don't want to clean the kitchen in the morning. But I do make sure everything is tidy every single evening before I go to bed. I want the kitchen to be clean so that in the morning when I enter the kitchen for my coffee, it looks nice, looks organized. And that gives me peace of mind. But then again, it's maybe also because I'm a little bit neurotic. So today, as far as cooking is concerned, I've got a number of options. I want to take a look and see if I can make, for dessert, a tiramisu. But I'm not sure if I have all the ingredients, so I need to check on that. And I've got a lot of potatoes that I really need to start processing because they're starting to grow legs and run around. So maybe what I'll make is at least one dish where it's mashed potatoes with endives and like bacon, bits of bacon. So that's something I can keep in the fridge for a couple of days, and that's really winter food. And also, since I've done a lot of running lately, I crave pasta. So maybe I'll make a pasta puttanesca or something like that, because I've got some ingredients that I need to use for before they expire too. I've got some schnitzels from Austria, I guess. So I could do something more with like fries or something like that, but that's not the healthiest. So maybe I'll keep that for another time. But let me know if you have any preferences or tips for that matter, because I don't think I've ever made tiramisu. So I know that you need mascarpone, cheese, and like cookies. And what else? Coffee, obviously. I think there's also alcohol in it, but I'm not sure. Okay, right, let's get rid of all the cutlery. Such a strange word, cutlery. I guess it comes from instruments that you need for cutting. Is that, or is cuttle something? Is that a verb? I don't know. It's often in English when you have these strange words that don't have an equivalent in Dutch that I tend to forget. Like, what was the word again? We call it bestek in Dutch. Bestek. Also, no idea where that comes from. Then again, we're going to cook. We're not going to do etymology. All right, almost done. Let's put that there. Scissors. And then, of course, I've got my kitchen knife. This is a knife from IKEA. It's one of the best purchases I've ever made. It's razor sharp. I use it for everything, and it's been extremely helpful to train my knife skills. What I didn't know, but I experienced that myself, is the sharper it is, the safer it is. There's nothing more dangerous than a blunt kitchen knife. So I've got a knife sharpener at hand. All right, some bread. This is the bread that we eat in the Netherlands. This is very typical bread. So this is whole grain. It's got some seeds on top. It looks actually very pretty as bread. Super healthy. No sugar in it. Thank goodness. It's something I'll never get used to in the United States. They put sugar in bread. It's just horrible. Usually, I put my bread in the freezer because it's I don't eat that much bread during the day, so it tends to dry out too quickly otherwise. So in the morning, I'll just get a few slices from the fridge, put that in the toaster, and then I'm good to go. The downside is that I always have to do a bit of a Tetris exercise. Sorry about that. My fridge is right there. That's my fridge. And down below is the freezing compartment, or how do you say that? All right, this is ready. Put that there. This is for weighing. I've got 2 miserable carrots. They're completely dried out. They're not rotten, but they are definitely, they're not looking too healthy. So maybe I'll do something with them as well. For me, this is always the fun part of cooking, is coming up with an idea and trying to figure out what I'm going to cook based on the ingredients that I have. All right, degreaser. We've got the grater. I'm always afraid of these things. I tend to get hurt when I use stuff like this. I'm so clumsy. All right. Vegetable stock. Okay. Let me get my iPad for the recipes, and then I'll be back at the chat. See what you all are posting. I hope you can still hear me. I'm now walking all the way to the window to get my iPad, which is fully charged. Where would I be without my iPad? I love it so much. All right. By the way, I'm starting to switch back to Mac OS. Tomorrow, John Domek is sending me his old. Let me clean the lens here a little bit. It looks a bit foggy, but maybe it's just the quality of the lens. There's a bit of a flare in there. Maybe it's this thing. Is this causing the flare? No? Something else. There is a... yeah. Okay, it's the light right above the countertop. If I turn that off, is that better? No. Wait, I didn't turn it off. What? Press the wrong button. That and that. Does that get rid of the flare? Yeah, it gets rid of the flare. Okay, so tomorrow I'll have an Apple phone. No, Apple Watch. But apparently you cannot sync the Apple Watch with an Android phone. So thankfully the Apple Watch 4, Series 4, still syncs with the iPhone 6. And I happen to have the iPhone 6 Plus, which I used many years ago. So what I'm going to do, but it's a big operation because I've been on Android for about 5 years now, is to move my private number back to the Mac or to the Apple operating system, and then to use my Android phone for work because I have a different SIM card and a different number for that. I just don't know what will happen if I take out the SIM card, if I take that out of the Android and put it into the old phone, the old Apple phone or iPhone. Will it mess up my Android? I don't know. I don't know how much is tied to the actual SIM card. But there's only one way to find out. All right, so how is everybody doing? We've got Liz. Ruben also doesn't like graters. I'm scared of graters. Hey Pat, good to see you. PD Pal says you should be fine. It will just activate on that phone. It's just a data service that they're meant to be swapped. Okay, well that's cool. Yeah, it's incredible. What I hope to do at one point is to get a new iPhone, but I want to do it in phases because it's of course a huge expense. And I'm also a bit on the fence, like, am I going to wait for the version that has USB-C? Because I'm going to use it mainly for filming. And I know that if you film in 4K, you get these huge amounts of data. And the data transmission speed of the Lightning connector is actually very low. I think it's about on par with USB 2. So that could really hamper me for what I intend to use it for. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll do it in phases. I'll go back to the iPhone 6 because it still works perfectly. I can't update it to the newest OS yet, but it's speedy. It's super light. It's actually a lot lighter, and I don't know. I like it more in my hands than the Android phone. And then if I move back to iOS, I can also kind of move my habits back to iOS. And then, of course, upgrading from an old iPhone to a new iPhone, that's smooth sailing. That is really super easy to do. So maybe that's what I will do. Or maybe, I don't know. It depends. Someone else told me, well, you can always wait for the next iPhone. There's always going to be a next iPhone that's going to be even better than the one right now, but also think of what you need it for. So if you want to, I don't know, film during your vacation on a phone, then by all means get a new one, because otherwise you will be filming with an old system. Anyway, hey Cliff, welcome to my kitchen. And by the way, thanks for your private podcast this morning. I had to listen to that one. It came just at the right time. So I was because I'm easing back into my work, and yesterday I did another live stream, and I wanted to create some Star Wars stuff and some content for my YouTube channel. And I ended up working until 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I don't want to get back to. It's just working for, ultimately, for what? There's no return on investment on that. And so this morning I listened to Cliff's podcast, and he was like, yeah, you've this person who always complains that he never has time, he never has enough time, but he's putting all his spare time into creating content without having a plan why. And so instead focus on a bigger plan, and first secure that, and then if you've got your income stream and everything in order, then you'll have plenty of time to do the fun stuff. And I was like, okay, yes, yeah, I needed to be reminded of that. So thanks. Pat says, so I'm reading the comments. Some of you are on Facebook, some of you are watching on Twitch, and some of you are watching on my YouTube channel. So I sometimes have to tell each and every one what I'm reacting to. So Pat is actually gave me her old iPhone 6 Plus, which I've been using for many years, and I've even been filming some documentaries with it. And so Pat says, I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Just spent 3 weeks in Africa, took lots of video. We had no problems transferring the files around using the Lightning connector. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Because in some reviews, they said it's so slow. But, well, if it's fast enough, then maybe it is worth switching over. The iPhone 14 Pro Max was, in fact, the model that I was looking into because of the battery. And it's, like, if you compare the smaller sized one with the bigger size, it's only like $100 of difference, and the screen size is important at my age because my eyes. We need to get started to cook, otherwise I'm just chatting. Hey Yellow, welcome to the stream. Where are you assigned these days? I'm here. This is the town of Bennekom. It's near a few bigger. Well, it's one city, Wageningen, and then a town called Ede. I'm working full-time in the media, and I'm assisting the local parish here on Sundays. Remember, we know when you are posting content at crazy late hours. We know. I feel being watched. Oh, I have to use Lightning to USB 3. Does that make a difference in speed? I didn't know that. So, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'll show you my ingredients first, and then I'll let you help me decide what to cook. So, first of all, most important element of any dinner is, of course, the dessert, right? So, I've got ricotta cheese from Galbani, good Italian brand. I've got 2 of these. I need to start using them because they're not expired yet, but I can't leave them in the fridge for another day. I thought that ricotta was one of the ingredients for tiramisu, but I may be wrong. Let me just Google a recipe for tiramisu first, so we can see if we can make that. Tiramisu. I'll just look up a Dutch recipe. There we go. So tiramisu. I'm using my iPad, by the way, now. What do I need in terms of ingredients? Oh, it's the wrong, no, it's not ricotta, it's mascarpone. So that's different. It's not, this is not the right cheese. So what do you use ricotta for? Oh, for lasagna. Ooh, lasagna. Now there's an idea. So unfortunately, that's not going to be an option today because I don't have the ingredients. But what I do have, of course, is I've got some old radishes, so I can make a salad. Oh, I see something that I can make. It's actually one of my favorite Korean dishes. One of the few that I know. This is spinach. I'm gonna make Korean spinach. It's so good. And then I've got, I'm just gonna get everything out. I've got endives. These are pre-cut, so that goes very well with the potatoes. Yeah, these should be used because they're almost expired. And I've got sauerkraut, so German sauerkraut. We can make an oven dish with that, also with potatoes. I'm not sure if we'll have time. The traditional Italian lasagna is made with bechamel. Okay. In the US, ricotta is also commonly used. I will look up some recipes for the next time. Ricotta cheese lasts for longer than the expiration date. Oh, good. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. And mascarpone too. So there's no hurry there with that cheese. That's lovely. Do I have any smoked sausage? Yes, I have, in fact. What stops you from making tiramisu with ricotta? I don't want to. I've never made tiramisu, so I don't want to risk my life. However, let's start with the spinach. So this is one of my favorite things to make. Oh, I've got some soup left in here. This is actually what I need for the spinach. So this is leek soup that I made yesterday. Most of it is in the fridge, but there's a bit left here. So what I can do is to heat that up and eat it as an entree. I love soups in the winter. So I love to make split pea soup and pumpkin soup. I could also make pumpkin soup. I have all the ingredients, but I don't want to overdo it on the soups. Let's first finish the leek soup and then we'll see. All right, so this is empty. Because for the spinach, I need to blanch the spinach first. It's a very quick recipe. You need to do some prep, and then you can keep it in the fridge for about a week. So let me first clean the pan. Sorry about all the noise. Hope you can still hear me. Whoops. There you go. I think regular listeners to my podcast already know about the Korean spinach because I raved about it many times in the past. All right. So we're just gonna cook some water, boil some water. That should be about enough. So let's put this on the fire. Let me turn this around a little bit so you can see. Here are the pans. Let me turn that on. You may hear some knocking. It's because they're still working on the parish extension on the other side of the kitchen, or other side of the kitchen wall. Unfortunately, my induction system is a bit broken, so it's very tricky to turn it on. Like the touch keys often don't register. Super annoying. Okay, while that cooks, I need to prepare some other stuff. We need sesame oil. This is only to use in cold recipes because it's based on toasted sesame seeds. So those would burn if you would heat it up. I need Japanese or Korean. I'm going to use Korean soy sauce. So this is Korean soy sauce. What else? Oh yes, regular sesame seeds. I can use these probably. I have regular ones. Wait a minute, where are my sesame seeds? Okay, I've got some more here. Okay. Let me just quickly Google the recipe again because I don't want to. I've made this 100 times, but I always forget. So spinach, and it should be this one. No. Oh yeah, Sigumchi namul. That's what it's called. Simunchi kamul. Cookies. Okay, so Sigumchi namul needs, what does it need? So I'm going to blanch the spinach, then I'm going to get rid of the water, cut it into pieces, and then what else? This is one of these pages where you have to scroll like 5 kilometers before they actually give you the recipe. Oh yes, garlic. Garlic, very important. Sesame oil, and some green onion. Okay, that's good. And some sugar. Always forget the sugar in those recipes. So we've got this. We need some green onion. I grow my own green onion, by the way. I've got a whole, like, there in the in front of the window. I've got all my plants or my herbs. Let's see, I'll just get some of these because they're a bit old. Take one. Oh, wow, they're very old. They're drying out. Okay, well, let's see. It's a good thing I'm going to use these today because I don't think they're going to last any longer. Let's get rid of the dry leaves. Okay. The advantage of the spinach recipe is you can make it, look how tall they've grown. These were just store-bought. I put them in water and then they grow twice the size for free. I like free. Okay, cutting board. Oh man, I haven't cleaned my cutting board. There's still pizza on it. Okay, that'll do. Very well. All right. The downside of streaming, I notice, is that it robs me from workspace. This is normally where I cut my stuff. Now there's a computer in my way. Let me show you what I'm doing. So first of all, I'm going to cut off these two. These ones, I'm going to put them back into water, and then they will start growing again. So, actually, let me put that here. Add some more water. There we go. That should be fine. And then we're going to cut these into small pieces. I'm doing the claw. So you hold your fingers like this, and then you lean the knife against your knuckles. And then you make these movements. I'm still practicing. But ultimately I hope that I can master this fully. And it's funny with the knife skills, the more you do it, the faster you get. It's just that you don't want to be distracted while you're cutting, because then you're going to end up with unwanted ingredients. Okay, well, these are a little bit less, or a bit, I don't know, maybe, like the store-bought ones are a bit more firm. Well, this does the trick. There you go. Still have all my fingers here. All right, so I'm gonna put that aside. For garlic, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So I'm not gonna cut up any garlic, because if you use like fresh garlic, which of course taste-wise is the best, the downside is that it doesn't mix as well as this garlic. I always have some garlic paste. So I've got this in the fridge, stays good for a couple of weeks. And since I'm going to mix this in with the spinach, usually does the trick. All right, so water is boiling. This goes in for about 30 seconds. Does it need a bit of salt in the water? I don't think so, but maybe. Let me just salt the water, just to be on the safe side. It's going to be in there just very briefly anyway, so. All right. Put this in the pan. I may now activate your Google device. If you have a Google Home, tell it to not listen to me, because I use the Google system a lot for cooking. Hey Google, set a timer for 30 seconds.
All right, 30 seconds. Starting now.
Sorry about that. I know that in some of your situations, Google is probably reacting now. Okay, let me put this underwater. There we go. So you don't want it to be completely raw, because then it will start to brown over time. Stop. It feels weird to do this with people actually in my kitchen. I always have long talks with my Google Home. So by blanching it, the color actually stays bright green even over time, which is very pretty. Okay. 30 seconds approximately. I mean, it's just. And then what I need to do is to cool it off immediately, which means I'm going to put it in one of these. I forgot the name. Let's get rid of that. So you do want to stop the cooking process basically right away, otherwise it gets too mushy and it will lose it will lose volume. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Water all over the place. Okay, so I'm using ice cold water to stop the cooking. There we go. Okay, so now it's super cold, but the colors are wonderful. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to turn you a little bit, otherwise you don't see what I'm doing. I should have multiple cameras, maybe in the future. So I've got the spinach inside the, it's on the tip of my tongue, the word for it. I'm sure some of you have already posted it. The strainer, yes, the strainer. So I'm gonna push out all the water, the excess water. So that is a bit of a, yeah, it's a weird thing to do, but get the water out as much as possible. So it's funny that you have like this huge bag full of raw spinach, and then when you process it for this dish, there's almost nothing left. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. All right. So there we go. All right. So we end up with this. This is all. It's all with all the water gone. This is also why you shouldn't cook it for too long, because then there's nothing left. Then what you do is you take a bowl. Here we go. Let's take a bigger one. So we need to mix this. I cut this in 4 halves. There we go. And we add that to the bowl. So far, so good. And now we're going to add all the other ingredients that will make it yummy. So that means we're going to start with some sugar. 1 teaspoon of sugar makes the medicine go down, as they say. This could also be used to counterbalance, because I'm going to make the spicy version. The sugar helps balance that out. Sugar goes here. That one goes there. So let me see, do I have any flakes left? Yeah, I've got a few. These are like red chili flakes. I'm just going to use them all. Maybe not all. That's a lot, actually. And then we use 3. First, we're going to add the garlic. I like a generous amount of it. Just put that in there. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Maybe, this is actually very, very nice soy sauce. I'm going to use the Japanese soy sauce. This is because it's a bit cheaper and I need the Korean soy sauce for some other ingredients. Or for some other recipes. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And then, another fun part, you have to crush some sesame seeds. That's what I'm going to do. What are you doing now? A new way of connecting. What was the green thing? The green thing is spinach. I'm cooking. So we put in the sesame seeds. These have been roasted. And then we're going to crush them. And they'll become all fragrant. It's actually very, very nice. Because if you crush them, it starts to release flavors. Okay, I think we're almost there. This was a really nice investment. I think I bought it for $10, but I've been using it so much. Anyway, I think that's it. And then we're going to sprinkle half of it over the mix. There you go. Now we need to start mixing everything together. So this is what it looks like right now. Take another spoon. We're just going to make sure that all the ingredients are mixing with the rest. And it's actually the best thing you can do after preparing this is to leave it in the fridge overnight, because then the leaves of the spinach will start to absorb the various flavors. And that takes a while. It's like almost like a marinade. So right now, this is all mixed. Now I'm going to add the sesame oil. You could use a generous amount of it, because the sesame oil gives it a very nice nutty flavor. And of course, it's the kind of oil that is very healthy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 tablespoons. We're going to add the green onions. Plus the remainder of the sesame seeds, the crushed sesame seeds. There we go. And then give it another stir, another mix. All right. My apologies to Liz. I wasn't talking to the camera. So Liz is usually reading, is doing lip reading. So if I'm filming the dish, she can't tell what I'm saying. Unless there is some software that, well, actually I think, Liz, you use also software, right, to transcribe what is said. All right. I do have my R2D2 pepper shaker. Yes, I have. I don't use it because it's plastic and it just doesn't work that well. But, yep, R2D2 is never far away. So this is a pepper shaker. You have to open it on the here, and then you can just move the head. But it's you know, plastic is not the best. It's not the best quality for this kind of preparation. Okay, so we're done now. This is what it looks like. Let me show to the camera. It smells, it's very, very aromatic. Love it already. But of course, it will only get better over time. But we can already taste and see if it's good enough. Maybe it needs a bit more salt. I can taste the sugar much more. That's nice. I think in the past I didn't use this much sugar. So it's actually, but it works well. It makes the overall flavors a bit more complex. But it does need more spice. It does need the remainder of this. It needs to get more chili flakes. All right. So what I then do, I'm going to put this in. Oh. There goes my microphone. It got stuck behind the drawer. There we go. I wonder if it will fit in here. So these are really great. These are from IKEA. I use them all the time. Transparent, so you always know what's in here. They've got these bamboo lids, so that's relatively eco-friendly. Or you could also use them in the microwave. I think this will do. I'm just gonna put it in here. So this is not, of course, a dish you would eat for dinner, but this is something I like to eat when I have a little craving. I'll just get a few bites of this. And it's packed, of course, with vitamins and iron and all the good stuff. And you can keep it in the fridge at least for 5 days. I don't think I ever went beyond 5 days. So there you go. That is done. So good. Yummy. Delicious. All right. I'm going to put the lid on and put this in the fridge. There is the fridge. Show you some other stuff that I made. This is my leek soup. Made this yesterday. So this potato leek soup has potatoes and leek and some stock. That's all. Blended. Keep that in the fridge as well. I've got some Chinese cabbage. Made this, cooked this. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it tastes really, really nice. I had a bit too. What was I going to say? I need to close this door before it starts beeping. What was I going to make? Now I've lost my train of thought. We're going to make a salad. And what else? You know what? I think, if I look at the time, it's almost 6 o'clock, so I do want to prepare something quick, so I'm going to skip the mashed potatoes, because that takes forever. Instead, I will make a quick pasta, the pasta puttanesca from Naples. It's a really simple recipe, very yummy, and one of my favorite pasta dishes to cook when I'm in a hurry and I still want to eat something special. So, I'm going to boil some water first. There we go. I've got my pasta from the Lidl. It's funny, Lidl is a German supermarket chain. They have this super cheap pasta. riscossa. I think this is 80 cents. And it's so good. Okay. Tomato. Olive oil. Okay. Okay. So for one person, I need about this, like I always do, like this, and this should be around about the right amount. I think it's about 100 grams. Put that in here. Some salt. I'm doing this in the wrong order, but anyway, some salt. Oh, that's too much. Is it? Oh no, no, it's okay. All right, salt, boiling water. I'm gonna put this on. This will take about 8 minutes. Very important, of course, to time your pasta. You don't want this to become too mushy. It needs to be al dente. So always check the official cooking time. This is 7 minutes. Hey Google. Hey Google. Set a timer for 7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes. Starting now.
All right. Let's put this under. There we go. All right, while that is cooking, we are going to prepare the rest. So for this recipe, you need a bit of olive oil. This is tomato. You can use tomato cubes or even fresh tomatoes. I use the passata, Elvia. This is also an Italian brand. It's very, very good quality tomato paste. Some olives. I use black olives. The best is to use those like purple olives, but I don't have them. Plus they're a bit expensive, so instead I'll just use these. Works fine. And you need anchovies. So these are anchovies. You take 2 or 3 and you let them melt away in the olive oil. Just gonna heat this up. This is a messy recipe also. It creates a lot of, usually, how do you say that? It's spits. Anyway, so these are just small pieces of fish. Are they still good? Yeah, these are super salted, so they should be fine. Just add this. I'm gonna show you in a minute. There you go. So the cool thing is these anchovies will completely disappear. Uh-oh. There you go. I'll do that. I'm just going to cover all these pans because I cannot turn this one on because it will make so much noise. All right. Let me use some capers as well. Okay. Let me see. Oh, whoa, whoa, ow. Always does that. I don't know why. I think there's a lot of water in the fish still, somehow. Okay, so pasta is cooking. Let me prepare the olives. Take them out. I'm going to make the lazy version of this. There we go. So if there are any Italians watching this, I am totally aware that I'm taking some shortcuts. All right, let me cut these up. Oh, what's happening there? Is this still going all right? Oh, the pasta. Hello there. How am I going to prevent this from... Oh my, oh my. This is going too fast. There we go. I'm going to add the tomato sauce. Some capers. I'm not sure if this is part of the recipe, the capers. I'll do it anyway. Just to add a little bit of salt. Extra salt. The fish is also pretty salty. Oh, now I remember. This is why you shouldn't salt the pasta water, because the sauce is already super salty. Oh well. Let's cut these olives in half. There you go. And this. So the fish, the anchovies, they are completely melted. You can't see them anymore, but it's going to infuse the tomato sauce. Whoop, careful. And then add these to it. And of course, some garlic. Also going to cheat and just use the garlic paste. Because I can. And now I'm going to get myself some basil. I grow my own basil as well. Hey Google, turn on the lights in the living room.
Turning on 11 lights.
Thank you. All right. Am I the only one who says thank you to Google? Maybe I'm too polite. All right, let's get some leaves here of these plants. And then we're just going to cut those up as well. Getting hungry. All right. That looks good. And more importantly, it smells good. All right. So again, I'm sorry if you are Italian and you're watching this and I'm trampling your soul. Stop. that's the signal for the pasta. That's good. Let's cut up the basil. Of course, you can also use your hands. But if I cut it up, it tends to spread more evenly through the sauce. All right, so now the pasta should be al dente, which we can now, oh no, it still needs 1 more minute, I think. Let me give it a try. I think this is a little bit too much al dente. No, it's okay. It's going to be fine because I'm going to put it in there. Of course, I'm going to save a little bit of pasta water. There you go. And then I'm going to strain that. See, I remember the word straining. Strain it in the strainer. And then we're going to add it to the sauce. There we go. It goes in there. We're just mixing it all together. You want to add the basil at the very last moment, otherwise it's going to lose its taste. Ooh, oh, that smells so good. Delicious. All right, this looks pretty okay. I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of pasta water. Now, because this is fish-based, you don't put any cheese on this. This is very important. So, with pasta, of course, we're used to adding Parmesan on top of almost any pasta dish, but not when you're cooking with fish, because it's too overpowering. You won't taste the fish anymore. So I guess since this is technically based on fish, it's also true for puttanesca. Allora, and then finally, we add the basil. Give that a stir. Oh, I can smell the fragrance of the basil right away. I guess it's the heat that also kind of activates it. Right, time to plate. All right. Let's put it all on the plate because I'm going to eat it all. I can be fancy, but I'm not going to because I'm hungry. There we go. Oh, smells so good. All right, well, there you have it. All right. So my apologies that I didn't answer all the questions in the chat. It's a bit complicated to cook and to monitor the conversation, but let's first taste this because I don't want this to get cold. So this is what it looks like. So it's got the olives here, the anchovies, you won't see them anymore. And then there's a little bit of basil. So let's taste. Let's see. I think it's perfect in terms of al dente. Mmm. 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 So good. The saltiness of the anchovies really makes a difference. Because it's a very, very small amount of fish, but it's so strong. And it's actually not too salty. And the quality of the tomatoes, of course, also very, very important. It makes a difference if you use the cheap stuff or the more aromatic. Mmm. 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 Perfetto. One of my favorite dishes. There you have it. Now you know the secret of the pasta puttanesca. Does your family used to teach you how to cook pasta when you were a young kid? No. No, my mother was raised in Indonesia, and so she would usually cook more Indonesian style dishes or recipes. This is something I taught myself. I just love cooking, and I watch a lot of cooking videos on YouTube and a lot of cooking shows, television shows, and then I just try the recipes out, and that's how I learn. And sometimes it works out really well, like today. Sometimes I'm very glad that I'm the only one who has to taste it. Mmm. Mmm. Delicious. All right, so we need smell-o-vision. When our AI overlords take over, I hope they'll remember the politeness. Oh, I think Alexa all the time. Manners are a good habit. That's what I think. You know, of course the machine is not going to register my kindness, but it changes me. It helps me to stay polite and kind. Hey Jeff, good to see you. The Rain09 always thanks Google as well. So yeah, I'm not the only one. That's the thing with Labradors. Oh, you're talking about the dogs. Yeah. Which series was available on Delta? Mauricio is there. From Tijuana. Awesome, welcome. Let's see, I've got to take the puppy to the vets. How is the cold showering going for you? It's no longer necessary because I have a new boiler, or a new, heater. So they replaced the old one. I still do it after running. When I get back from a run and I'm super hot and sweaty, I turn on the shower, I step under the shower, and then it gradually gets warm. And it's because I'm super warm after running that it's actually quite nice to have the beginning of the shower cold. I should do a cooking live stream showing some recipes. Well, that's kind of what I do right now. The Chosen. Have you seen the series The Chosen? Not yet. Not yet. Well, Liz has subtitles. That's good. Cucumber as a base for smoothies. I love cucumber. It's just that right now it's pretty expensive. The Rain loves listening to the podcast on the commutes every week. Is this a new show? No, this is not a new show. This is just streaming. It's just community. Celebrating our community. Tzatziki with cucumber. Oh, that's so good. But yeah, a lot of water in cucumbers. is life in prison without possibility of parole considered to be far harsher punishment than the death penalty? I don't think so. I mean, in prison, even if you're in for life, you can still you can still do a lot for other people. You can make something. You can read. You can pray. When you're dead, that's it. So, yeah, no, I'm very opposed to the death penalty. I think everybody should have a chance to change and to make amends. The difference between mozzarella and cheddar, the taste, very, very different type of cheese. Mozzarella is very soft, very creamy. The cheddar is a hard cheese, it's salty, it's a bit older also than mozzarella. Am I going to the Star Wars conference in London? Yes, I am. Yes, I will be there. Next time you make split pea soup, try parsnips instead of potatoes. Maybe I will. Sauerkraut dishes, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow probably. Ricotta, oh, Gerda gave me a recipe for what to do with the ricotta cheese. Thank you so much. With spinach and then lasagna. I like that. I like that. All right. What do I think of the German synodal way? It's, well, I'm not an expert. I think it's the German church trying to come to terms with a society that is changing very quickly. I mean, there are also some downsides in the sense that, of course, you cannot make your own church doctrine as one country or one bishops' conference. You have to do that. We have to do that all together. And there are some serious concerns about the impact of that process on the rest of the church. I have more faith in the whole synodal process that Pope Francis has intimated, and that will spread out over a couple of years, because then everybody will be involved, including, you know, theologians from all over the world. So I think that's a smarter way probably. But I don't think it's bad per se that they are talking about all the, you know, the hot topics and all the contentious subject matters, because we need to think about the challenges of these times and the questions that people have. All right, so yeah, we're just cooking and chatting. But thank you so much for all the good advice and the feedback. What is my favorite place to travel to in the United States? I have no preferences. I like all these different. It's such a huge country. Yeah, I like most places. Sometimes I love the nature, and sometimes I like the cities, like New York was amazing, but I don't think I would like to spend more than a week there because it's so busy. And then I loved the Grand Canyon. That area is beautiful. I've been to Colorado. That was amazing. The West Coast is beautiful. San Francisco is a very pretty city as well. Although apparently the city has gone downhill quite a bit over the last couple of years. I haven't been there in a long time. So yeah, it's impossible to choose. Didn't the church in the Netherlands do a similar thing in the 70s? Yeah, kinda. Times were very different back then. I think if you would look back on what happened there, nowadays you would think it was actually very, very, you know, orthodox and not much wrong with it. The Germans, you know, where it's like that was 40, 50 years ago. So times are constantly changing. What I think is important is that we keep engaging the questions of our time. And we should make sure that people not only know the truth, but also are able to apply it in their lives and understand it. And so that is not easy for people nowadays. So I think it's a very good thing that we think about all the issues that we deal with and to enter into a dialogue that will also sharpen our own reflection on the the topics. Hey, I need to wrap this up because otherwise, la pasta is getting cold. I answering all these questions. So I will be back tomorrow with another live stream. So tomorrow, same time, same place, same channels, 5 p.m. Central European Time, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And tomorrow we're going to talk about anime. So I'm going to record an anime show for my podcast listeners, the story, the Patreon podcast listeners. And I'll just tell you what I've been watching and how that inspired me. So anyway, if you had a chance to write a memoir about my life as a Catholic priest, what would you call it? I have already written a memoir, and it's called Geek Priest. And it's, unfortunately, right now it's not available. We're working on it. But yeah, I wrote that 10 years ago. So, but keep in touch if you want to hear more about that. Make sure to subscribe to my channels. If we make that available again, maybe even update it with new stories, because a lot has happened since then. You will be the first to know. And of course, if you're a patron, by the way, here, if you go there, you can also support my work and help me. And then, of course, the patrons are always the first to know when I'm working on a new book or something like that. Anyway, hope I made you hungry. What is my birthday? My birthday is on April the 5th. And how do I celebrate my birthdays? Nothing special. Usually I don't really have time to organize anything. I may actually be in the UK around the time of my birthday because of the Star Wars celebration. I'll let you know. Hey, it was good talking to you. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for all your feedback. I'll read through all your comments when I'm done eating. But right now, I'm too hungry. So, buona serata. Ci vediamo. Ciao.